starts now.
Is there a job you once had that has been eliminated and replaced by a new technology? Many of us have seen the story in film, TV shows, and documentaries, how the factory worker at a car plant has been eliminated by mechanized robot arms. We can also read about how universal income schemes could help buttress the effects of economic dislocation by technology. Lists are produced regularly that show which jobs are most likely to be eliminated by tech in the near future. But does any of us actually have our own experiences? Quite often it's said that creative destruction is responsible for one technology being eliminated and another innovation replacing it. We have countless examples of such innovations, ranging from the light bulb, the TV, and the computer, to the elevator, the shipping container, the printing press, and even the toilet. Prior to each, there were jobs to be done, and with each innovation arose the need for work, and reduction or elimination of forms of work associated with the former way of doing things. A friend of mine used to be a floor runner in a financial brokerage during the mid-1980s, the delivering and picking up of buy and sell tickets for trades, and sometimes physically picking up and delivering paper, stocks, bonds, and treasury bills. A roster of such runners was employed by a few dozen firms in my city alone. The runners would often assemble in a dispatch, much like what we would have seen on the TV show Taxi, and wait for the dispatcher to send them on a run. Not only has that job been eliminated, but most paper stocks, bonds, and treasury bills are now digital. So much faster, cheaper, and easier. But a lot of employment positions no longer exist, from the runners and their entire department to the companies that print paper securities, to the landlords that house the companies and their employees, to even small sandwich shops and convenience stores that were set up, and so on. Now, to say you were a stock runner is to secure your place in a museum display. So really, computerization and digitization removed physical transactions and transactors. How about from the world of entertainment? Music retailers. These were once featured in pretty well each shopping mall and lined the main streets of towns and cities. They first offered vinyl records, then 8-tracks, cassettes, then CDs and DVDs. Those retailers and all that employment are gone. Streaming is now the world's overwhelmingly popular way of acquiring and listening to music. There are some specialty record shops still around here and there, although we'll see, once we're through the big change we're going through right now. If you were a record store employee, I mean of the big kind, you can now start writing down those stories for your grandchildren about how people used to listen to and buy music. Renting movies. Blockbuster Video. They adapted from beta through VHS to DVD. But when things became digital, the entire operation went south. A lot of stores, a lot of employment. Not just at the retail end too, but preceding that, in the production part of the chain. Gone. Producing and streaming digital is faster, cheaper, and more convenient. A new technology replacing the old. It's funny that if you still have a Blockbuster membership card, you're considered cool by those kids who never saw or stepped into a location. Years ago, I remember meeting a retiree whose former job in his youth was working at a sock factory. Having really never put any thought into my socks, I found this fascinating. But even more so was when he explained to me how the socks they were putting out, elasticized socks, the ones we know today, were a new innovation prior to his time. And this innovation replaced the need for sock suspenders, also called sock garters. Socks before the 1950s didn't have elastic in them to keep them positioned on your legs. So people bought these little garters that fit around their calves, with hooks. to hold the socks up and not sag down to your heels. There was an entire industry around creating the sock garter or sock suspender, but the new innovation eliminated that need and replaced those jobs. He actually knew people from that line who had been replaced because their jobs had been taken over by a new technology, a new product. That product is so commonplace today that many people are surprised to see old movies featuring men wearing little garter belts around their calves. Is there a job you once had that has been replaced or eliminated by a new technology? Visit stephenchristiansen.ca for more episodes. This podcast is available on premium streaming platforms including Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and TuneIn. I'm Stephen Christiansen. Thanks for listening.
Production of Stephen Christensen. Podcast complete.